All right, so here I have the EC5 connectors, and they're marked positive and negative on each of these. Now the small one, the one that goes inside, is for the battery. So this one's device side, so speed controller, battery. So for now, we're gonna put the one for the speed controller to the side. Now the battery is always the ones with the hole. So there's that one. And then of course the hole. And then this is a device side, if you can see it. Device side, battery side. Anyways, so we'll set these aside. Now again, positive and negative, they're all marked on there. Positive and negative, positive, negative. So that's very important to note. Now Kim got me this Xtronic 3000 series model 3020 Pro soldering station, and this has been really handy, especially for the high, the higher amperage wires, like 10 gauge like these. So I'm gonna turn this on. Oh, it's not plugged in. Oh, power's right here. Sorry, I put that too high. Turn it on. I'm gonna set this to 420. And this is in Celsius, so 420 Celsius, which is about, it's pretty hot, 700, 800 Fahrenheit. Now, this is a Traxxas connector, so this one pops off really easy, and you only want to do one at a time. So I'm going to pull this, it just pulls out, see? And this doesn't have a lot of contact. If you see that, like, that's why people hate these Traxxas connectors, is because they only make contact on one side of the connector. So anyways, we're going to desolder that real quick. And make sure it's hot enough. There we go, it's desoldered. Now you're going to come over here and see that we're going to have to cut off a little bit more of the coating. So I've got my trusty pocket knife. And we're going to cut off just a little bit. So now we have enough in there to go all the way in. Well, I mean, there's solder on there, but it'll go in. Anyways, what you want to do is you want to tin your leads. Like if you cut this connector off, like sometimes you have to cut them off, you have to tin your lead, and this is flux. So you tin your lead so that you can actually solder it or apply solder. Now you don't want to put the soldering iron directly onto the flux. I mean the flux. Sorry, whatever I called it earlier. You want the heat to be put on the actual wire, which will let you coat this in there. And then what I do is I also add flux to the connector itself, like the inside. Now keep in mind, this is EC5, so we're gonna run this through the hole on the positive side, just like that. Poke it through, and then you can go down. All right, now we're gonna tin this. We're gonna tin the connector, and tinning is just adding solder to it, and it'll just melt on there. It's like pretty easy. So now that that's added, you're gonna heat the connector and the wire at the same time. Now it should just go in nice and evenly, like beautifully. And if you have enough flux or solder and flux, it'll just slide right in. Now you can't see it because it's in there, but that is now permanent. That's not going anywhere. Don't touch it because it's hot. I'm just doing it because my fingers are used to soldering. But this connector is done, and then when it cools off, you're gonna push it into here and it'll snap. You'll hear it snap. Hold on, let it cool off a little bit. Turn this off for now. That's cooled enough. And then you're just gonna pull this and it'll snap. Oh gosh, some of these are very tight, especially EC5. Well, that's not going in. Sometimes you have to cheat a little, so you have to. Oh gosh, I'll take a punch later, and I'll use a punch to push it down while holding this with pliers or something. It should just snap in, but again, this one's not snapping in. Anyways, I'll get back to you on that. All right, so I found my punch, which fits perfectly into the connector. And what I did was I used my pliers, and I pushed back here, and then I pushed with a punch. Now this was a very, very tight fitting, so you'll push it and it'll snap. It's a loud audible snap. It'll go snap. So then the positive is done, and that's not going anywhere. So now I'm gonna do the negative. All right, so I went ahead and tinned the lead on here. So I'm gonna poke it through the negative side. And then I've already tinned this as well to save some time on the video. So I'm gonna mount this. Get it hot enough to melt.
Why don't you get, oh.
There it goes, melted. Mount this one as well.
We're gonna do your name.
There it goes.
Me?
You're gonna do your name in pink, my mind.
And get it in
Yours is
there.
up there.
I want it.
Just, no, it's gonna stay there. But you guys wanna see magic? See how like that's colored?
And that's not the
Color?
best soldering job I've done. Oh gosh,
Hi.
that actually looks pretty bad.
It's gonna come down like magic.
We gotta clean this edge so that it actually fits on there,
It's coming down.
so it snaps in.
Oh, I see it. I see magic. Let me see.
Turn that off for now. So there we go. We have
I see pink magic.
the connector on there. Let it cool off a little bit. Now I'll show you what I did on the video on the other one, because this one I have it set up already.
We're gonna do this.
So I'm gonna grab this connector here. I'll take my punch and have it snap in. Ah, that one was a lot easier. So there we go. That is EC5 crash course. Is pretty easy, and that's not going anywhere. That's
Can I help you?
permanent connector now. They're almost impossible to remove, so you have to cut them off. But there she is. She's good to go. Now I got 2 more batteries to do. So there you go. Pretty easy.